Have you ever really stopped to properly look at a traditional Turkish carpet? I mean, not just glancing at the patterns, but actually wondering if those designs, might be telling stories, ancient stories.
Hmm.
It does make you think, doesn't it? Could those beautiful shapes hold beliefs from way back, things we haven't really considered?
It's exactly that hidden depth, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes looking at these textiles so, well, fascinating. We're not just seeing decoration. It's more like a visual language passed
Mhm.
down for, gosh, centuries.
Okay.
And for this deep dive, we've pulled together insights from academic research, really digging into the origins and meanings woven into these carpets and kellums.
Right. So our goal for you today is to sort of navigate this world of symbols. We want to give you a good, solid grasp of these designs, maybe uncover some surprising links to the past, but without, getting lost in dense academic jargon.
Exactly. We'll be drawing on academic viewpoints, how these motifs originated, what they mean, their cultural background.
Yeah.
Think of it like peeling back the layers of a really rich visual history.
So the mission is to explore these links, the potential connections between the designs and older belief systems, and see how significant they still are culturally.
Okay, let's jump in then. Where do these patterns actually start? Where do they come from? Well, the story really kicks off way back. We're talking first millennium BCE, within the steppe cultures of Central Asia. And these weren't just random pretty patterns. They were about showing their world, their understanding of it visually.
Mm.
There's a fantastic early example of the carpet found in the Pazyryk kurgan. It dates to the 5th century BCE. The animal motifs on it, the geometric shapes, these kind of stylized figures.
Hmm.
They strongly suggest it was used for, well, rituals.
Wow, 5th century BCE, that's incredible. Designs thousands of years old, potentially. And you mentioned rituals. Is that where the link to sort of ancient shamanic beliefs comes into play? I think I've heard about that connection.
You have, yeah, and you're right. There is a significant connection there, especially with certain key symbols. The tree of life is a big one.
Hmm.
In Central Asian shamanism, that symbol stood for the axis mundi.
Axis mundi, like the world axis.
Exactly. The central pillar, believed to link the different cosmic levels, the underworld, our world, and the heavens. But, and this is really important, we have to be careful not to oversimplify. Not every single motif is purely shamanic in origin.
Ah, okay. So it's a bit more complex than just these are all shaman symbols. What else shaped these designs?
Oh, absolutely. You've got evolving tastes, just pure aesthetics changing over time.
Hmm.
Then the arrival of Islam brought new ways of religious expression, and that naturally flowed into the designs too.
Right.
Plus you have folk tales, local stories, and simply the individual weaver's creativity.
Mm.
That played a huge role in the amazing variety we see. So, yeah, while shamanism definitely provided an early symbolic framework for some things, the whole picture is much, much richer, more intricate.
That makes complete sense, like a visual tapestry woven from different cultural threads over time. So, okay, let's zoom in on some of these key motifs then. The tree of life sounds absolutely central. What are some others, and how do researchers tend to interpret them?
All right, let's revisit the tree of life. Like we said, axis mundi, linking the cosmic layers. But it wasn't just a cosmic map. It signified this deep interconnectedness of everything. And within that, the idea of spiritual journeys, of gaining understanding. It also carries meanings of immortality, the cycle of life, death, rebirth,
Mm-hmm.
and fertility too.
Okay.
Then you have something like the ram's horn. That's a really potent symbol. Think strength, masculinity, a kind of warrior spirit, but also fertility again. Its roots go deep into how early Proto-Turkic cultures viewed animals and their power.
The ram's horn.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can definitely see the strength connection there. What about some that look maybe a bit more abstract?
good question. Like the Elibelinde motif, that one's generally read as representing feminine energy fertility. Interestingly, some modern anthropology looks at it and sees connections to maybe a mother goddess figure.
Uh-huh.
Though we should be clear that's more of a modern interpretation looking back.
Got it. A contemporary lens.
Yeah. Then the star motif that often brings ideas of cosmic order, guidance, like using stars for navigation, and divine light. There might be a link there to ancient sky rituals and shamanic practice, possibly.
Fascinating stuff. And what about symbols that might feel a bit
Yeah.
darker? Snakes, scorpions.
Those are often seen as talismanic, protective symbols,
Huh.
or sometimes, yes, representing potentially dangerous forces. Their direct connection to formal shamanic rituals seems a bit weaker than, say, the Tree of Life. They feel more rooted in what you might call animistic folk beliefs, this idea that spirits inhabit the natural world around us.
Okay, so we have these individual symbols, some clearly tied to shamanism, others may be coming from different folk ideas or later influences. How do these pieces fit into that bigger shamanic picture you mentioned, the three-tiered universe?
Exactly. So ancient Turkic cosmology, especially in that shamanic period, pictured the universe in three main layers. You got the upper world, the sky. That's the realm of Tengri, the sky god, and other celestial spirits. It's often linked with symbols like the sun, stars, birds, and of course, the tree of life reaching upwards. Concepts here are about sacredness, spiritual enlightenment.
Makes sense, things up high, related to the heavens. What about the middle bit?
That's the middle world, our world, basically. Earth. And here you see symbols clustering around our daily lives, our concerns. Social structure, fertility, life force, vital energy, motifs, like the Elibelinde, the ram's head, they feel very grounded in this middle realm.
And the third layer kind of rounds out the cosmos.
Yes, the underworld, or netherworld. This is seen as the domain of spirits, which could be protective or potentially dangerous. Animals like snakes and scorpions often carry this duality, either guarding boundaries or signifying a possible threat from that other realm.
So it's almost like a map of their entire universe woven right there. But how do the motifs actually do that? They aren't literally drawing the underworld, are they?
No, that's a great point. It's not a literal map. It's more indirect, more evocative. It works through association. Symbols linked to the sky birds, stars naturally point towards the upper world.
Right.
Motifs dealing with human life, fertility, strength, they anchor us in the middle world. And those symbols of protection or potential danger, like the scorpion, they hint at those spiritual boundaries, the connection to the underworld. It's like a symbolic shorthand where each element adds to this bigger cosmic understanding.
That's a really helpful way to think about it, a symbolic language. And you keep mentioning the tree of life. It really does seem fundamental to this whole system, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. It's that central connector, the conduit between all three realms in shamanic thinking. You don't just see it in kilims. Its symbolism pops up in other really significant cultural items. Turkmen jewelry, for instance, even on shamanic drums. It's a powerful, unifying image.
So we've got the symbols, the cosmology. Was the actual act of weaving itself tied into any specific rituals?
That's an interesting area. There are some documented cases, especially in certain Central Asian Turkic groups, of practices linked to weaving. Things like burning certain incense, maybe saying prayers before starting a piece. It suggests a kind of connection between the craft itself and their beliefs about the cosmos. But, and our sources are pretty clear on this, it's important to see these as localized practices. They weren't necessarily universal across all Turkish weaving traditions. It really depended on specific regional beliefs and customs.
Gotcha. So maybe some ritual elements here and there, but not a standard practice everywhere. What about the weavers themselves, the people actually making these incredible things? What was their role in all this meaning making?
Well, weaving in Turkish culture traditionally is so much more than just making cloth. It's a really fundamental way of transmitting social memory, cultural knowledge from one generation down to the next. And female weavers, often called by respectful terms like Anna or Hatun, meaning mother or lady, they were absolutely vital. They were like the keepers of oral traditions, of belief systems, of aesthetic values. They held on to this visual language.
Wow, so they were like living archives passing down knowledge through thread.
Precisely. Through how they chose motifs, how they arranged them, they were essentially encoding cultural understanding right into the fabric. However, and this is a key distinction researchers make, while they were absolutely crucial transmitters of culture, it wouldn't be accurate, academically speaking, to call them shamans.
Right.
Their role was different. It was about preserving and passing on tradition, being cultural custodians.
Okay, so they were the storytellers using thread, essentially. And these stories, these motifs, they really do have meanings far beyond just looking nice, correct?
Oh, absolutely. These aren't just patterns picked at random. They are dense cultural symbols. Take Elibelinde again. It's not just a cool shape. It stands for femininity, fertility, abundance, the ram's horn, masculinity, strength, productivity. Even the scorpion, it's often seen as protecting against negative forces, like bad luck or harm.
And the eye symbol, too, the Nazar.
Exactly, the Nazar Bankugu.
Yeah.
It's a very widely understood symbol for warding off the evil eye, for protection.
So every thread, every knot, every one of these carefully placed symbols builds up this bigger picture, reflecting their beliefs, their values, their whole philosophy of life, really.
You've got it. These motifs elevate the textiles. They're not just functional items anymore. They become tangible pieces of cultural memory. They embody core beliefs, social values, ways of understanding the world.
Wow. It really is incredible to think that something you might just, walk on or hang on a wall because it's beautiful actually holds such a deep, complex history inside its patterns. So, to kind of wrap this up, what's the main takeaway? What's the key thing we should hold on to from this deep dive?
I think the essential point is that these traditional Turkish carpet motifs are so much more than decoration. They really are this rich, complex tapestry woven from history and belief. Their roots stretch way back to ancient Central Asia, and they carry echoes of shamanic cosmology, but also all these other cultural layers that have shaped them over time.
Right. So they're not just pretty pictures, they're symbols packed with meaning.
Yeah,
Meaning about the cosmos, about fertility, protection, about cultural identity itself.
exactly. And maybe that leads to a final thought, something for you to consider. Think about the power of everyday objects to carry these incredibly deep cultural stories. What other things around us, other seemingly simple designs, might hold similar hidden histories just waiting for us to notice?
Hmm.
Maybe look at the world around you with fresh eyes, with a new appreciation for the stories that might be embedded in the patterns and symbols we see every day.